Hi, I'm Ömer.
And I'm Elly.
Today we'll be meeting a couple of our friends from the Department of Risk and Safety.
And we will ask them the burning questions we had ourselves before starting the master's program. Also, lasst uns anfangen.
Hadi başlayalım.
Let's start.
Well, thank you for joining me on the bench today.
Thank you for joining me on the bench today. Thank you for joining me today in the bench of interviews.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for the invitation.
So, first question. Who are you and how did you end up studying risk and safety?
My name is Abner. During my previous studies, actually in my bachelor's, I did my thesis in the domain of estimating risk in marine engineering.
I'm Anna. I'm part of the second cohort, so I've studied industrial engineering in my bachelor's.
So I'm Keyu and I came from China. I have an insurance and economics bachelor background.
I'm Khan. During my bachelor's, I studied engineering science.
I'm Johann. I did a bachelor as a safety engineer.
I'm Ying-Yu, and actually I was working before, also dealing with the safety issue.
My name is Valle. I am currently in my 5th semester, currently writing my thesis.
My name is Elly and I'm studying risk and safety because I'm really interested in analyzing natural hazards and disaster risks.
My name is Ömer. I am one of the first students from the first cohort of risk and safety. I wanted to come to Munich and I quite liked the university. And I stumbled upon this new program. What makes risk and safety special, in your opinion?
I think the special thing about risk and safety is how interdisciplinary it is.
I believe it's a uniquely interdisciplinary field. You can decide how you want to specialize your own domain. You could go in more engineering or technical fields, for example. You can go into aerospace, automotive, constructions as well. Or you could also decide to specialize in a less engineering or a less technical fields like management or psychological risk as well. It's also an option for us. And I think the fact that you can decide it freely is really, really nice.
We can get exposed to engineering risk and financial risk and natural catastrophe.
Yes, you learn the probabilities of mathematics and all those things behind this risk, but you choose your direction of where you want to apply this.
What I think is really special about our program is that we have lots of people from different backgrounds. People are coming from different countries, but also academically, since they studied a wide range of bachelors. And this is what I think makes our discussions in seminars also quite interesting, because everybody has their own perspective onto things.
What is risk exactly?
That's pretty easy. Risk is always the product of likelihood times consequences.
Probability times consequences.
Probability and severity.
I would say something you can't control.
I would say risk is something that everyone hates a little bit, but it's still tempting for everyone, because when there is a risk, there is also an opportunity.
A risk is getting out of bed every morning and getting on your bike to get to school, knowing that a car might crash into you. But here as engineering, it is more of what is probability times severity. So how likely does a crash happen? And how bad am I going to get hurt on that bike? So those are the two things you should always remember with the studies.
It's always important to think what is acceptable risk and what is not acceptable risk, because not able to put risk to zero.
I think there are different measures. We can measure risk in different ways.
There are different risk measures. So what most people would say is risk is probability times severity, which is like some kind of expected loss kind of notion of risk. But there's also other notions of risk. There's, for example, value at risk, so other kind of measures that we also learned during our studies. More abstract risk is something is at risk, so the potential of an adverse event.
What topics are you most interested in risk and safety?
For me, the idea of managing risk is really interesting. And right now I'm doing my master thesis and also working student at an aerospace startup here in Munich. I'm a part of the safety departments, where we basically analyze and calculate what risk could happen to our aircraft essentially. And I believe the idea that we learn this theory at the university and actually practically applying them in a company is something that I find really interesting, and I like it as much.
The most interesting part are the methods. You come with a specific background from safety engineering, and you will get introduced to a lot of methods, and you can implement them by increasing your knowledge from your background.
I am currently more looking into topics of AI, the risks that generative AI causes, and what are the ways that we can kind of mitigate those risks.
I'm more interested into natural hazards. I personally are focused on floods. especially river floods. But you can also, there are classes about landslides, alpine hazards, like we're in Munich. Of course, we have the Alps, for example, mountains close by.
I would say the topic related to road safety. It's also something related with my past experience.
Since I have an insurance and economics bachelor background, so I'm more interested in financial risk. But at the same time, I'm also very interested from several topics that I was exposed to last semester. So like aviation risk and also engineering risk, of course.
I'm very interested in everything related to uncertainty quantification and probability theory.
I'm most interested in topics regarding aviation safety, so topics on the certification of aircraft or avionics and also operational flight safety, but also data science topics and machine learning.
What is one of your favorite moments in risk and safety so far?
I think the fact that we're quite a small department compared to the other departments here at TUM in Munich, and we're only about 8 to 10 people every year. And the relationship that we have with the professor, with the lecturers is also quite intimate. So we do a lot of stuff outside of classroom. And I really like how close we are, and I'm so lucky to have the friends here at Risk and Safety.
We are such a small cohort, and everyone knows each other very well, and we have very close bondings to each other.
We met each other in the introduction session. This was like meeting up with the risk and safety family.
We made dinner together. We did a kind of international dinner with everyone bringing their typical cultural food or just going to some parties together.
We just have some nice chats and play some games, and it's always a good time.
All the small get-togethers we had within this apartment. So yeah, it was just the small touches that you have that no other department other than risk and safety has.
So what are your plans after risk and safety?
Well, I still really like Munich, so I want to continue in a job here, specifically in areas of AI risk and safety.
So after I finish my degree, I want to work in the airline industry as a data analyst.
After this program, I plan to still work in risk-related positions, most likely still in finance or insurance.
I want to work in the field of natural hazards, analyzing disasters. I was thinking about maybe working at a reinsurance company.
I would like to, for example, either work like in the reinsurance industry, or classic, I would say, like in engineering offices, maybe focusing on floods or natural hazards.
I would say for sure join the industries. For example, now I'm really interested of like software testing.
I think I've had enough studying, and I will probably go into either aerospace or automotive industries here in Munich. Like I said, I'm working right now in an aerospace startup, and I'll try my best to continue working in this domain.
I'll probably be looking into a PhD. What I want is learning new methods, and there are also a lot of methods which still need to be developed. That would be one thing I'm interested in.
After all this time you spent with your studies, do you still think risk and safety was the right choice for you?
Absolutely. I think the landscape of risk is constantly evolving, and the fact that this theory is actually has a tangible impact on the system safety and keeping people safe is something that also makes you feel nice.
Yes, I think so.
It's definitely the right choice for me.
Yes.
Yes, definitely, without a question.
I would say this program has enriched my life in the ways that I can never imagine before.
I'm very happy because I think you get really like a really good foundation of methods, and that's something that will be important in the future, definitely.
Well, thank you for joining me on the bench today.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get some coffee. Thank you for joining us today with our Meet with Risk and Safety Department.
We hope it was informative for you.
If you have any further questions, feel free to look into our webpage.
And then we hope to see you next year.
See you!
Bye!